I hate ads with an undying passion. They are everything wrong with this society. And they are literally a fundamental feature of our lives now. Everything is just full of ads. They infect everything eventually, and they are a constant reminder that we are being programmed. It's almost like a fourth wall break to me every time I become aware of the fact that I'm currently watching ads. I become aware of the fact that this is a sales tool designed to convince me to spend my money on the product, and that it isn't based on the actual quality or usefulness of the product in any way. Because, of course, since with capitalism, you always need continuous and ideally rising sales, right? So, of course, you don't want your product to last forever, or you need to build in planned obsolescence in some way to keep making sales. That's why products and things in general used to be built to last forever. Today, that's just not the case anymore. And it's obviously not because suddenly we wouldn't have the technology anymore. Like, imagine what we could actually build today if we would still be building for things to last a long time and to actually build and vent in a in a productive way and for the betterment of society. But right now, the product's quality, integrity, and value ultimately always comes second to the question: does it make more money? Does it bring in enough money? And with those restrictions, it ultimately hard caps human creativity and resources and communal efforts. Usually, ads aren't even talking about the actual qualities and specs and the actual application of the thing that they're currently trying to sell you. Ads usually just try to pull some emotional string and to make you attached to the brand or to the product. And to me, that's something I never understood ever since I was aware of ads. Like, so many times have I watched an ad and did not have a single clue what product this should promote or what company this is from. And then at the end of the clip of 15 seconds of nonsense, it flashes the product and the brand for a few seconds, and I'm just like, okay, how are these two connected in any way? And you may say, yeah, see, that's exactly the strategy, They're trying to make you think of the brand and the ad. Even if you don't like it, you remember the name. And it's like, even if that's true, even if it makes me remember the brand, won't I just remember it as, the brand with the shitty ads? Like, I don't know anything more about your product. It doesn't bring me any closer to your actual product because the ad does not teach me anything about your service and why I should choose you. So why waste all of our time? So ads, like the entire thing is brainwashing. And if you're aware of that, then my logical following would be to, do what's in my power to to avoid the ads as much as possible. I've gone so far now as to basically block and avoid any ads in my own household as much as I can. But of course, it's unavoidable to run into ads, at some point or in some way. And then they always just drive me crazy. TV ads or like YouTube ads are usually the worst, because at least the ads on social media are sometimes amusing with how horribly they are made, or how obviously scammy they are. And it's funny reading the comments of the people tearing the ad apart. But that's a small exception. Other than that, it's just one of the big two waves that's crashing down on the internet currently: ads and AI slop. And I always have to wonder, where are we going from here? Anyone remember when YouTube was ad free? Like, we really had it all back then. And then the ad nation attacked. And the ever increasing burden of ads started creeping into the platform. Slowly at first, and then more mid rolls, longer ads, The unskippable ads became a thing until eventually they turned around and sold us ad-free YouTube as, you know, the premium subscription. Because everything, of course, gets put into tiers and subscriptions and gets more bloated and more fees and less quality and so on and so forth. And YouTube was not just ad-free, but also sponsor-free. Because now, you're not escaping the ads at all anymore. Not even if you pay for YouTube Premium. Speaking of sponsors, I want to take a moment to thank today's video sponsor, Raid Shadow Legends. But jokes aside, that's kind of the perfect illustration of how deep this really goes. Because there used to be a time where it was not normal for companies to scream at you constantly. Good products spread through word of mouth. Companies build reputations around quality. And if something was genuinely well made, people talked about it, recommended it, and that was kind of enough. And maybe that sounds nostalgic or idealized, but it really does feel like something shifted. Now it's not just about ads existing, it's about what the ads are actually advertising. And most of the time, it's just low quality, mass-produced slop, drop-shipped garbage, rebranded, plastic things, throwaway stuff. The same product sold 100 times under a different name. And the ads themselves will just straight up lie, or at least stretch the truth so far that it stops meaning anything. Companies mislead consumers without consequences. They use questionable or outright dangerous materials. They promise results that they cannot realistically back up in any way, like selling app trainers or online, business success coaching or whatever it's called. And what's wild is how normalized it is. We all just accept, or I guess don't realize, that ads are allowed to exaggerate, manipulate, and straight up, deceive the consumer, as long as they don't, cross some very specific legal line. And there's no real accountability a lot of time. If a product sucks, the brand just disappears and reappears under a new name next month. It feels like we're heading toward a world where nothing exists to exist anymore. Everything needs a brand, everything needs a funnel, a conversion rate, even hobbies, even communities, even our own creativity. And that generally sucks. It sucks the soul out of things. It makes everything feel fake and transactional. Like every interaction is just one step away from something trying to sell you something. And that's why ads are the worst. Not just because they're annoying, right? Because at least you could make fun of that, but because they remind you that you are part of a system where profit has to come before quality, honesty, or usefulness. And I don't really have a solution for that, right? This was just a rant, but if you feel the same way, at least you know you're not alone in slowly losing your mind every time a video cuts to an unskippable ad for something you were never going to buy anyway.